Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. So thank you very much for coming, and thank you all of you who are joining us through Facebook live stream. Today's topic is about digital money, all of these cryptocurrencies, what is Islamic point of view regarding money, wealth, also these innovation in digital space, and how do we understand these issues. Before we start, it's very important to frame this discussion and to say that the Prophet ﷺ told us the time will come when one will not care how they gain money, whether legally or illegally. So the sign that we are here, that we are listening for this, it's important, a sign for us to show that we actually care about money, how we are making it and how we are spending it and what we do with it. When we look at the topic of money within Islam, somebody might ask what religion has to do with money and wealth and these sorts of things. And I would remind you of the Prophet Shuaib when he came to the people of Madian, and he used to tell them that they should give full measure in weight, in justice, and not cheat people when they are measuring and doing their business transactions. And these people, rather than submitting to this, they used to say, "Oh Shuaib," this was a sign of rebelling against what he is trying to do. They used to say, "Oh Shuaib, does your prayer command you that we should leave what our fathers worship or not do with our wealth what we please?" So they used to say, like jokingly, what your prayer has to do, what your Islam has to do with how we make money or spend money. This was first sort of like secular ideas where morality, ethics, religion, all of these things are separate from material world and so on. So if we look at the aims of the Sharia, one of 5 key aims of the Sharia that tries to protect certain aspects of society, one of these 5 aspects is protection and preservation of the wealth. And when we're talking about wealth, we mean money, anything of value, transaction, economic system, anything of this. So Islam prescribes very specific prohibitions in muamalat or business dealings. Also, one of 4 questions that will be asked on the Day of Judgment is regarding our wealth. And we will be asked where we earn, and meaning how we earn money, and how we spend the money. So all of the questions will be single questions regarding life, knowledge, and body, but wealth will be asked from 2 angles, how we get the money and how we spend. Of course, issues of financial nature, such as riba, for example, in Islam is a declaration of war against Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr waged war against those people who refuse to give charity, zakat. So issue of wealth is very, very significant in Islamic context. If we look at the money itself, historically, money used to be many different things. If you read not too far away from where we are in Australia, there used to be people, there was a money called yap, known as rai, and these used to be the big stones which people used to transact. They would carve them, they would trade, they would assign certain ownership to these things, and they would do what that money we used to do today. Salam alaikum. In Japan, for example, they used to use arrowheads, rice, grains as a money. Indigenous people of Australia used shells as a money, as a medium of exchange. And even sometimes in a war or a prison, people sometimes use cigarettes. Okay, I remember in Bosnian wars, not because of anything to do with cigarettes, but they just kept using them because they were less how do you call it, volatile type of money, or more trusted or accepted than anything else. So even though cigarettes are not allowed in Islam, but everybody kept using these things. And I remember once, me and my father, we were going to buy something on the market, and everybody was paid in cigarettes and everything. And we used to go to the market just to buy some basic stuff. So we would have to have cigarettes to trade. And one day we were intercepted by soldiers who wanted to shoot us just to take the cigarettes. And they actually shot above our heads. They started spraying the bullets just to give them that. And we didn't want to give them. My father refused to give them. So this was very, very valuable, as a commodity. So again, not because of anything Islamic, but just there was a need and necessity to transact. Now, when we look at Islamic coins, A lot of this discussion, of course, is Islamic perspective on these things. Prophet ﷺ did not change Roman and Persian dinars and dirhams during this time or immediately after. So these coins, of course, gold is we call it dinar, and silver is we call it dirham. So these coins of previous, let's say, civilization or the governments or states were used and accepted, and traders used to buy and these sorts of things. So this continued until Khalifa Abdul Malik ibn Marwan introduced the first Islamic sort of Umayyad gold coins, and he wanted to unify various regions under the Islamic rule. At that time, there were certain political games where the Christian heads of state, they used to have their own money. They started printing certain Christianity symbols and iconography, and then our Khalifa put our own symbols and words and, Islamic details. So there seems to be some sort of back and forth media or propaganda warfare where, Khalifa at the end decided, to go full on and mint the coins and so on. So this was used to bring the whole state together, unify different religions. And later on, with the verses of the Quran and Islamic messages of faith on these coins, Abdul Malik issued a decree making it the only currency to be used throughout Umayyad lands. So throughout the Islamic world, this was the only currency or money actually that was accepted. Those who didn't comply faced death penalty. So it was a very serious issue, okay? These were generally gold coins were struck in Damascus and silver coins all of these other places. Of course, as we know from Quran, the key message is when you measure, give an exact measure and weight with the accurate scale. So the responsibility of the state and Khalifa was to respond by ensuring the purity and weight of these coins. So to preserve integrity of the money in the circulation. And what we will see later on, this continued to be the function of the state, not just Islamic, any other state. Their main job was to preserve integrity of the money in the circulation. So our Islamic coins used to indicate the place and date of mint, the name of the ruler, father's name, and the heir apparent. And whenever the new Khalifa came to power, he had a new coin struck in his name to make changes of these rules official. And in reality, those people later who tried to rebel against the Khalifa, what they used to do is they would first, one of the things that they were used to do, they would establish their own coins. So as you can see, always money and power used to be linked together. And those who try to manipulate the power, often what they would do as a tool to manipulate the power was to manipulate the money. So money, power, and all of these things are always very closely related. So since these days, money used to be everything and anything. People used gold, coins, and all of these things. Abdul Malik bin Marwan introduced our coins. Then throughout the generations and history, people use this. Okay, they would also have from other, like a copper and other coins, which was a bit smaller. Of course, you can't buy everything in gold and silver, very, very expensive. Just like today, if you buy everything with $100 and $50, you need a $1, $2 notes. So these used to be the copper coins. So this continues until these days, when we had more or less the world wars, where we have seen some bloodshed and destruction the world had never seen. And this threatened, of course, with the First World War, destruction and what happened and all of the rest, it destroyed economic system internationally. So after the Second World War, allied nations, those winners, okay, and again, we see the link between power and the money. Those winning states, they get together in a Bretton Woods conference, and they wanted to rebuild international economic system, okay? So they came from all of these different countries, and they set up a system of rule, institution, and procedures to regulate international monetary system, okay? This is when they established IMF and, beginning of all of these other banks and world banks and so on. What they did at that time, they basically didn't have any gold because all the countries were destroyed. They didn't have anything tangible anymore. Countries were destroyed by wars. People died. They didn't have anything. Okay, so mainly America had the gold, they had the power, they could do anything they want. So what happened is all of these other currency removed their, or government removed themselves from the gold link. They unpacked their money from the gold or anything tangible, and only currency that stayed linked with the gold was the American dollar. So that was the only currency, because America was dominant superpower. They had the gold, they had the strength, and when you hear what happened, they were very clever in the way they made everybody submit to them. Soviets or Russians were not very much pleased. They didn't want to join this. They declined to ratify this agreement because they saw this extension of Wall Street, American influence. Okay. However, obviously, America at that time built the world. They were the manufacturing engine of the whole world. They were financing, building, and their power just grew. Everybody was holding American dollars as a reserve currency. So demand on American dollars and on this gold increased, and America, especially in the 70s, if you watch what happened with the OPEC and the oil issues, they couldn't hold any more gold in their deposits or anything like that. In 70s, what happened is they terminated convertibility of US dollar to gold, and they finished with this system. And this was the last currency that was linked with the gold. From then on, US dollar is basically free floating currency. It's a fiat money, which means it's just a legal tender. Government says this is something we use to pay taxes. You can't refuse it. You have to trade with this, and that's it. So the basics of it is, and in general, fiat money, that is just a piece of paper, is whatever is behind it. Okay? Now, Islamically, there is, of course, discussion, what is money, how money is, does it have to be gold, does it have to be silver, does it have to be something, all of these discussions. But in any case, what we need, again, to recognize is this link between money, state, power, and politics. Even today, a lot of countries are calling that they must rethink financial system from the scratch, and they're calling for new international standard. Okay, now when it comes to Islamic ideas of these things, I'll just read you a couple of things. There are a lot of this discussion, but that I find quite interesting. So I'm just gonna. Can you hear me? It's good. So I'm just gonna read you some of the thinking of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah and a few other scholars, what they say about the money and all of the rest. So the two important functions of money, when we look at what is it that money is doing, and more or less the Islamic scholars in the world agree pretty much on what is the money. I mean, we could see that there is a universally acceptable certain traits of the money. So two important functions of money, they are measurement of value and medium of exchange. And they are especially mentioned by Ibn Taymiyyah in his discussion of the nature and function of money. So he's saying that money is meant to be a measurement of object of value, okay, which determine like the quantity, okay, and it's never meant to be consumed by itself, okay. This is similar to what Imam Ghazali was saying about money, when he says that money, and he described money as a judge of other commodities. So if you think about it, what money is doing, it says this is $1, this is $2, So what he's saying furthermore is that money is created for some other things, not by itself, okay? So one who starts trading money and make it like a commodity or the object of sale is going contrary against the original intent of the money. So that's why in Islam we are not allowed to sell money as a commodity, which is then what we call that is a riba. Okay, so when you sell money as a commodity, you make a profit, that's what we call riba. Now, Ibn Qayyim continues this bit more. He says money and coins are not meant for themselves, but they are meant to be used for acquiring goods. Okay, and Ibn Taymiyyah considered the main focus of money to be medium of exchange. He is against trade in money because it diverts money from doing what it's meant to do. If money must be changed, then we know it must be following what Prophet ﷺ said, which must be hand to hand, and it must be in the equal amount. During his time, Ibn Taymiyyah time, he was very upset and he was distressed by the repeated debasement of the coinage which occurred in Egypt under different Mamluk states. So he asked Sultan to check erosion of the value of money which caused such disturbances in the economy. He opposed debasement in the currency and overproduction of money. So you can see that even during his time, state used to manipulate, although it was our state, used to manipulate with the money. And a state do this in order to benefit profit. Just like today, when they print or they do what they call quantitative easing, which is they just create money, it goes into their pockets, okay, it benefits them and so on. This, even when they set a target of inflation of 3%, in reality, what it means, this is the target, how much they steal from our money, okay, how much they're eroding the value that we have in our pocket, which is inflation. So what Ibn Taymiyyah is saying, that function of the state should be to be fair and keep the fairness, okay, not debase the currency, and he says the authority should mean the coins, okay, so meaning government, that should mean the coins, according to the just value of people transaction without any injustice to them, okay. He said, especially regarding fulus or copper money, should be in such a proportion to the volume of transaction that just prices are ensured. So he considered it necessity for the intrinsic value of coins, value of the metal, should match their purchasing power in the market, so that no one, including the ruler, could profit by either melting the coins and selling the metal, or by converting metal into coins and putting them into circulation. Okay, and look at this. I mean, he was so ahead of the time that when you talk about digital currency and all of these things, this is such a profound and deep thinking. Ibn Taymiyyah advised the ruler not to start business in money. Okay, by purchasing copper and minting coins, and thus doing business with them. With what? By making the money. You see, so he'd say, don't make it as a business, as a means of profit of making money. That's not why we have money, to make money from the money itself. Okay, rather, okay, and with that, you know, obviously he was concerned about that process would invalidate the money in the people's possession. He says rather he should mint coins of real value. Okay, so government should print or mint the real value coin, aiming without aiming at any profit by doing so, and while keeping in view the public welfare. He should pay a salary of worker from a public treasury, Beitul Mal. So even the person who is minting the coin should be paid from something independent to preserve integrity and the trust of the process of making and creating the money. So he said, without doubt, trading in money means opening a great door of injustice for the people and of devouring their wealth by false pretenses. And Mamluk sultans were involved in this practice, which Ibn Taymiyyah referred to as trading in money. Okay? Later on, Ibn Taymiyyah is saying that state is responsible for controlling currency expansion and for checking erosion of the value of the money by both major causes of economic which cause major economic instability. So for this position, that it's a state that should mint the money, he used certain proofs from the Prophet ﷺ and so on. And many of the scholars and everything, what they're saying after this, and throughout different discussion, is that that's what the function of the state is. Okay? And you will see, inshallah, why is that. So we see that money has all of these functions. It's a source of ease when people are buying and transacting, okay? One of its most fundamental purposes is to be medium of exchange, meaning I want to buy something, I give you coins, you know, we agree what that price is, $50, okay, here's the money, and you give me that, okay? Now, today, you know, we could say Islamically, money is anything that people really agree on. Okay, so it's a matter of a trust, okay? But sometimes people, as I told you with the cigarettes, sometimes people agree something that is not halal. So sometimes in economy, something can happen by necessity, not by design. People start accepting. In war, something become commodity that people are trading. So by custom, it could be even unethical. So for example, we said today's money, what is it? It's highly unethical because government, the way they are printing, the way they're manipulating, the way they're profiting, it's very, very unethical and so on. However, still we accept it as something that is medium of exchange, and all of the rules of money apply to these things, and many scholars talks about these things and so on. Traditional money, gold and silver, okay, so this is always, people used to believe in these properties, they had intrinsic value, and it's no wonder there is some attachment to these things. Now, as I told you before, the Prophet ﷺ used the other people gold and silver until we as a state started minting. So a lot of people talk about that only Islamic is certain metals, so that's, there is nothing in Sharia to say such a position, okay? Although it's a value and all of these things, nothing in Islamic tradition says, some people say it's a sunnah money. To be sunnah money, okay, there has to be in Sharia something say it's sunnah money, okay? But Zumer and some other companions used to even say they wanted to make from a camel skin money, okay? And the only thing why they didn't do it is because they will have to slaughter so many camels. So anything that makes sense, that is accepted, that becomes something that is, you know, and of course, especially when we enter into the issue of the state and preserving the integrity of the money, these are even bigger considerations, okay? Now, money is also not just economic issue, it's an issue of power, okay? And today we see that very powerful government and organizations, they're holding very tight grip. And that was used to be always throughout you could say the history of the mankind. So that's why when we look at the maqasid of the aim of the Sharia, one of the key aim of the Sharia is the protection of the wealth, okay? Because through the protection of the wealth, we protect the economic system, okay? As everybody who has ever been in any power knows that, know the sweetness of the power and know what they can do. There is somebody who used to say that money is a good servant but a bad master. So those who are in power, they want to make sure that they are on the top, okay? So they don't want to give up this, okay? So with money comes this craving and power and all of these things, and people usually manipulate these things. In Islam, what we want from this money, in reality, as the Quran says, is that money moves, as Quran says, so that it may circulate between, not only between the rich amongst you. So in Islam, the hoarding of money is something that is very bad. Function of money is to circulate in society and benefit people through that circulation, okay? The Prophet ﷺ said, the best of people are those who benefit others the most, okay? However, there must be order in a society, in economy. There is a system that we can trust and rely on, okay? In order to protect the money and protect the economy as one of the aims of the Sharia. To do that, we need to cooperate, we need to remove any possibility of injustice and exploitation. In another place, as I was looking through this, I remember another quote. Ibn Taymiyyah was talking about political system, but we can apply it here in the economic system because it's a very much linked. He says the good of mankind cannot be realized except in a social order because everyone is dependent on other. The administration of the affair of man is one of the greatest obligations of religion. Rather, the fact is that religion cannot exist without it. So we have here a situation that we have to have some kind of a system, which is why Islam prohibits certain transactions, such as, for example, riba, that lead towards the wrongful acquisition of wealth through injustice, exploitation, and so on. Or things like prohibition of gharar, okay, which is the Prophet ﷺ said that he forbade selling by the way of tossing stones to settle a sale and the sale of gharar, which is usually a speculative, excessive risk that has a consequence which are hidden or unknown. Ibn Hazm says that gharar is where a seller does not know what has been sold and the buyer does not know what was bought in terms of value on what was sold or bought. So all of these are important to keep in mind when we think about Islamic idea and the history of money, when we now talk about currency that is being created today, which is digital and cryptocurrencies. Which lead me to the Bitcoin. Okay? Now, whenever you watch Bitcoin activists, investors, people who have interest in this currency, those who buy it, sell it, trade, create, and so on, these are called Bitcoin activists. Okay? These people, whenever they frame a problem for us, what is the problem in society? They paint it in such a way, okay, this capitalism, destruction, unfairness, bank, this, it's all true what they're saying, you know? The analysis, when they diagnose the problem, it's all true, okay? But then they have their own solution. What is the solution? They will give you a solution, okay? Which remind me of the story of our grandfather, when Shaitan came to him and he said, Wallahi, I have something. I mean, by Allah. He says, I couldn't believe somebody swears by Allah and he lies. So our grandfather, first man, was approached by one of these people, okay? And one of these people who knew his weakness. What was his weakness? Internally. There is something in us, okay? There is something in us that creates certain weakness towards the loss of wealth, you know, death itself, okay? Loss of the fruit of our work and things like that, okay? So there is something in us that desires, like insurance policy, that we will be okay, that we will be free of needs. Okay, that's how humans are. That's why you see this insurance, everything insured today. Even life insured, and you feel better, okay, life insured. I mean, you die, what life? What are you talking about? So the Shaitan came to Adam and he said, shall I direct you to the tree of eternity and possession that will not deteriorate? You'll be free, eternal like angels. And that's always that imagination. So when we are sold some of these trees, you have to understand that often what is being sold is this exactly dream. In fact, most of the people recognize the problem. When you see these Occupy Wall Street movements, they know they want something fair, something just, something right. But the only thing is they don't know. You talk to them, okay, halas, you don't like this, what do you want? They don't know. Okay, and in fact, what caused, you know, most of the people when they talk about digital currency, they say decentralized, this. What caused the global financial crisis, if not that? Lack of regulations. When these corrupt banks and organizations took economic system and financial system into their own hands, created these derivatives, product financial engineering, and sold us with AAA security and destroyed. Create a system of incentive that almost destroy, and then we had to bail them. You understand? So it's not necessarily, so that's why we go to Ibn Taymiyyah when he thinks about integrity of the economic system, or what state should be doing. Even not making it as a profitable business for the state, but ensuring that it's from the public treasury, the minting is done. So claim today of Bitcoin as a decentralized currency that no group or bank is behind it, okay? It's better than fiat money, you know? It's a reference as a digital gold even, okay? It's finite, only 21 million. It's direct, cheap, free from government and manipulation. Nobody is in charge. World with no leaders. Think about that. Like, what kind of world is that? If I tell you, everybody is free, nobody is in charge, do whatever you want, have everything. I mean, what are you describing? Are you describing the earth? Are you describing this planet? The Prophet ﷺ said, when 3 of you go for a journey, have one of you as a leader. Because even 3 people, when they decide, we go left, right, sit, stand, eat, don't eat, the 3 of them can't run properly things. And he said that, you know, Islam is built on the order of things. You can't run something nobody is in charge. But it appeals to these people who want to demolish the system. Just like Trump voters wanted to blow up the establishment because they got sick of it. And they voted him in. Today we have a similar. They're sick of banks, sick of the manipulation, and they want to destroy the system. And somebody brings them this dream, decentralized, free, no banks, no nothing. It fills their heart with this like those infomercials. Just buy this one for $19.95 with 4 easy payments, and for the rest of your life you are free. And people are swallowing this like a hot cake. We are told that this will level playing field, get rid of the bank, corruption, inflation, everything. What Ibn Taymiyyah is saying? How do you ensure that there is no manipulation and all of it? You have to fund it from a public treasury. Then will be the really, okay? So people hear this digital money and unregulated, they hear words like freedom, money, a lot of it. All of these houses in Melbourne, median price in Australia now, $1 million. Nobody can afford it. Okay. So now tomorrow I was with one brother. He said, actually a couple of them said me the same thing. I can't, I'm 20-year-old, just finished my uni or starting my uni. I can't have a house. He was hoping somehow if we wrestle with this system, destroy this system through the apps that we have, these digital coins, okay, which you need electricity, app, mobile phone, bank to pay, all of that runs on everything conventional except the app that you send. And he thinks something there is there, okay, which will suddenly make it his house. He doesn't have a job, doesn't have a skill, no experience, but that dream will make him buy a cheaper house. I mean, serious. How gullible are we becoming? How these people are riding us based on empty hope. So we need to be very smart, very shrewd when we are thinking. So what is the Bitcoin? Okay, and most of these are similar and there is some tweaks and this and that, but they say that Bitcoin is a coin. It's not a coin. First of all, it's not a coin. Okay, this is just playing, this is just marketing gimmick to make us think it's a coin. It's not a coin. It's just a file. Okay, like a file on your USB, like the email you send, as real as the email you send. You understand? So it's a file, digital. List accounts and money like a ledger. You understand? Just like the book, and you send this in the file, and this is your Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. Just list transactions. Okay, it's a public ledger. Blockchain, okay, which is technology. And here people often mix between blockchain and Bitcoin. Blockchain, it's a piece of technology. It's interesting technology. A lot of people thinking, again, they are hyping, but it's a different, in this issue, when we analyze the cryptocurrency, we have to always analyze technology and economics and Islamic perspective separately, and then see what it makes sense, okay? Blockchain is actually a piece of technology, which is interesting. It has some interesting applications. It is what enables moving coins from one person to another, and it is a list of records called blocks. Bitcoin is not blockchain, okay? Now, what is currently the problem that people have with the money, beside all of these claims centralized and all of that stuff? And we'll see if that's true, actually. So currently, when people move money to A to B, what they need, except when I do in the cash, what do I need? What do I need? I need some third party. How do I send you from my bank account, Alexa? I need somebody third party. Now the problem there always is what? What's the problem with the third party? The fee. Because they are not charitable organizations, this bank. I don't know if you know that. They're not charitable organizations. They're there for money, okay? Now, what we are told is this blockchain attempts to transfer this money faster, cheaper, and without third party. Okay, that's the claim, to be decentralized. to be free, to bring the system down. Okay? We have something parallel working, and you understand? So let's see if that's true. And they work on the concept of open ledger. Okay, open ledger, open transaction. So it is a chain of transaction, open and public to everyone. So this coin, this technology, what it does, it says, I'm A, you are B. I have $10. I send to you B, $5. So we start by me. A send to B $5. A, then we need to calculate. I have 5, you have 5. Then you send $2.50 to him. Then we add it. Every time you transact, as you start, from the beginning of the Bitcoin, everything is recorded. You understand? That's what the ledger is. And everything is public. In fact, the system works by saying to everybody, hey, I send him money. A little bit encrypted with maths. Okay? That's what we are relying on security. That I say, hey, everyone, I send him money. And everybody of you say, yeah, good, we'll record it. And everybody's ledger and book start recording these transactions. Okay? So it's everybody knows it. I mean, just that function, just think about that. Every transaction is known from the beginning to the end. Yes, they have private and public keys and signatures. Think about that. If you are intelligence organization now, I mean, I don't want to go into conspiracy theories. If you are intelligence organization, you want to infiltrate a network, what do you first convince these people? That what they're using is untraceable. Nobody can break into, hack it. The first trick of shaitan is to convince you that there is no something called shaitan. So you relax. You understand? And how people are easily fooled. FBI or CIA recently, they go complain to Apple. They knock. We can't break into the Apple phone. You have to unlock it. What everybody thinks, that's real. Because they said that they can't break into it, every iPhone is real. I mean, how easily are fooled? Seriously, like how easy is to fool us? One news, we think, no, you see, they can't get into it. You understand? They tell us decentralized, yet every single transaction is publicly recorded. So, now imagine the criminal network. You put this in circulation. What you gonna record? They will record not just transactions they do between themselves, but their supplier, the entire network, where they are getting it. Everything will be public. You understand? People used to send it and they hide these addresses and they do the Tor and all of the other technology to hide it. And whatever, at the end, suddenly, through one piece of information leak, it connects all of the transactions back to them. Accidentally. They don't know how. They try to hide it. You understand? So even just that idea, it just doesn't make sense how people so gullible and to think these things. So blockchain attempt to move this. Anyone on networks knows how much anyone else has in the pocket. If they could create a good fast computer holding, you know everybody's money in the pocket, because that's the point of the blockchain, of the ledger open. And if you could figure out what belonged to who and this and that, and you understand, you could create the whole picture. So just for those people, anarchists and everything, who think they are so smart, you understand, they believe in maths and the encryption so much. And the encryption is a function of the speed of the computing. How fast you compute. Maths today and tomorrow, machines, speed. This is what the encryption is. It's how fast. It's not that it's not breakable. Anyway. Then you see, they say there is nobody third party transacting these coins. Okay, it's decentralized. All right, what are these miners? Have you heard the name miners they talk? There is these nodes, when they transact, there's miners nodes and miners, okay? Now, problem with this ledger is when I say I gave him money, I have $5, but I send another person $5. Which one did I send first? Just like you have a check, and I have $5, but I print 2 checks and I send to the 2 people. Both of them go to the bank, they can't cash it in. So whoever is first to the bank will cash it. So how do you have this eliminate double spending problem? So what they do is that somebody needs to verify this. So I say, hey, I want to send him money. So some of these miners, they say, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. How are you going to do it? I win something. How they do that is they crunch numbers. Okay, they do the solving some algorithms and whatever. They're guessing some numbers. Once they guess that number, they win the right to verify the transaction. So the system says, okay, halas, you now create next block. Okay, you create the next block. First of all, does that sound like decentralized? First of all, it's not. Okay, it's not decentralized. Because the money depends on this miner to verify transaction. That's all they do. Now they are again, we are, for those people who want to claim that digital currency is like digital gold, they say these people are doing something real. You see, to verify transaction, they have to crunch this code. This big calculator has to calculate a lot of different things, and that's really like mining because it's a work, and then they dig out the gold, how they dig out the gold? The system generates currently for every block 12.5 Bitcoins. That's about $60,000. These pools of miners are rewarded, that plus fees. Usually the system is calibrated to do it in 10 minutes, but I try myself. It took about 45 minutes. Sometimes takes longer. Sometimes the payment doesn't even go through. Okay? But anyway, the point is you want to transfer money to you, digital money, free money, decentralized without third party. I collect these transactions data, boom, send, somebody is paid $100,000 because you have newly created currency and the fee. Okay? I sent $5, I paid $4. I myself did. I sent $5, I paid $4 to send it. From one wallet to another wallet, digital wallet. Okay? Because you need to have a wallet when you buy coins, because you can only buy coins, and I bought it here, just here. I had to go to the $50, and they send it, and I send it to myself, to another one. It's such a hassle. And even when I got it, it was 0.001234.5. I don't know what it is. Even when you buy it, it's not expressed in the Bitcoins, it's still in the dollars. How much you want? I want 50 of Bitcoins. Anyway, so these people, when they are mining this, which is not mining, nothing similar to mining. You see, when you go to mining, you need to go somewhere. You need to find. Maybe you find it, maybe you don't. It already exists. You are unearthing it. Okay? Here, when they are mining, they forget one important thing. If the real people stop mining, I can still use my money, real currency. I can still do it, even if they stop mining for gold. Yeah? With this one, if they stop mining, nobody is verifying transaction, system stops. So this is not mining, this is a payment for the fees. Okay? This is verification. Okay? And it is the fee to keep system going. And the system creates its own money to pay that, which is exactly what the government central banks are doing. You understand? When they had the global financial and other crisis, what did they do? Stimulus. To do what? To make system going. They started quantitative easy to create trillions of dollars of fiat money. So to say that Bitcoin is any different than fiat money just because they say, oh, it's 21, it's limited, which will take 100 years to mine according to some predictions. So it's a fake analogy. Okay, it's as baseless, without any intrinsic value, as your dollars in your pocket. Okay? And the system is creating it from nothing again, rewarding this. And who are these people? Who are these miners that we are decentralizing from? Who are these miners? Okay? Just let me, before I go to the miners, which is very interesting, let me see if I missed something. So miners finding the key, we said need to invest computational power to do it. Then it adds this to their ledger. This is how they verify transaction, and then they do it. Now, the fact that it takes 10 minutes, 40 minutes renders this system invalid as a mode of something to exchange as a real money, okay? As a medium of exchange. You can't have a system that needs, I want to buy coffee or something, take between 10 to 50 to 1 hour to 2 hours to verify transactions. You understand? So they have all of these tweaks and things, up to the point where they are now separating different kind of, they're demolishing it and they're creating new currency from the Bitcoin. Just recently, 1st August, I think, they created Bitcoin Cash. Okay, a group of miners took over and then they created new currency from the Bitcoin. And they split it. Okay? And all of the people here, they duplicate their money in here. I mean, you're talking about fake money being created. They duplicated the entire thing, blockchain, and they took it. Private entities. Okay? So the system of miners create ecosystem where the whole Bitcoin and blockchain is centralized around the miners who are verifying transactions. So it's not decentralized. I can't just send you for free money instantly. And plus it's digital money. You understand? Imagine if somebody was saying email is not decentralized yet, somebody is there verifying every email when I send every 10 minutes or 1 hour, let me send my email. And the email create the email money to repay. And we say this is the real money. This digital gold. Come on, seriously? Are you kidding me? When I transfer $5, someone in China, most like 80% of the time, someone in China processes this and get paid newly created coins. So we say Bitcoins give to people who keep system going. Most of these investors in this mining, because when you say mining, this is a room full of machines, these servers, computers, and they found out that a video card, I think, graphic card crunch this better mathematically than, anyway, crazy. But anyway, so who buy this? Sometimes their bills are millions of dollars a month. They create the whole farms. Sometimes they say, in China especially, the whole electricity, because it's, why they're mostly in China? Because cheap electricity. Sometimes even they say electricity plant direct access electricity to them so they can mine more to make it even more cheaper. Who is behind these projects? All of these people who will get rid of us of system and all of this, decentralized. Is that all of these people of trust? Yeah, all of these people? They are venture capitalists, investors, bankers, entrepreneurs, and known faces in the finance industry. Okay? Let me give you some numbers. Most of these mining pools are in China. Okay? Now these people, sometimes they create the pools of these miners, which are, crunching the numbers, calculators and so on, who are verifying these transactions. 20 major pools are in China. Out of 20 major pools, Chinese pool controls 70 to 80% of the network hash rate. Okay? So what this is the speed at which computer is completing operation, finding next block to receive this payment. Okay? So they are consistently crunching and creating the money from nothing. Okay? Through the system. Okay? In China, roughly, these are the rough estimates from some of these websites. They say China 80%, Iceland 5%, Japan 3%, Czech Republic 3%, Georgia 2%, India 2-3%. Biggest mining pool, Ant pool. When I did my transaction to try this, okay, I did it, and then I started digging and looking and who did it. And I found that who did it, this Ant pool. This is a pool of these miners, so-called, these independent, nice people who do it as a charity for us, isn't it? That's what they are, who believe. They do it because of the goodness of their heart, So Ant pool is responsible for 25% of all blocks. Okay, so it's a mining base in China owned by Bitmain. Bitmain is the company. Okay, and they have a number of these pools. This Bitmain, this is one of their pool control 25%. Okay. If you look at who are these people, They are incorporated in Hong Kong as Bitmain Technology Limited, the company, private, okay? And so Bitmain controlling shareholder is a trust registered in Cayman Island. You know, do you know these things? Cayman Island, Virgin Island, this one, that, all of these things are a specific offshore entities. They are a little tiny country with 7 people and 100,000 companies and banks registered there. With the post offices nobody knows about, but all of their dodgy transactions go to these things. Maybe 1% are legit, 99 dodgy. If you Google Panama Papers, anybody know Panama Papers, remember? Okay. So these Panama Papers got transactions from one of these companies, one, okay, who have these offshore accounts hidden, okay? And they found so many governments, heads of governments, everybody who are using this to control businesses and companies around the world. In fact, they found, for example, Putin has several billions of dollars there. This enables him to own things, get involved in things without no one knowing who is the real owner. Because the company registered in Panama or whatever, you understand, these places came and, okay? Even they found that Bashar al-Assad funds the war in Syria through the network of his relatives who do legitimate business with the world and funnel the money there. Do I need to tell you more? How many heads of governments and states and people and businesses were involved in it? This is just one company, okay? So who owns this one? They say decentralized and everything. Who owns it? Somebody we don't know. Hidden behind the Cayman Island offshore accounts. But we should believe them, that they have a good intention for us, yeah? So now this Bitmain is the most influential company. So think about it, okay? It's the most influential company in Bitcoin economy. How do we know that? It's by the virtue of sheer amount of processing power or a hash rate that it controls, okay? Its mining pool, and BTC accounts for 30% of processing power of the global Bitcoin network. They control 30% of that. Why is this important? Hash rate is critical because Bitcoin is in the middle of the civil war now. Controlling a chunks of this hash rate provide miners with a public vote. Like democracy, they say. You know? They say in democracy, everyone vote. Only thing is those guys with the billions of dollars buy everything and politicians and everything, so this one vote really doesn't count. Here, it's even more easier to control because control is based on the power you have, mining power, meaning who has these engines. So the miners with the public votes, they are controlling chunks of hash rate provides miner with the public vote on the array of technical proposals dictating Bitcoin future. So more power you have, more you can control the future of the Bitcoins. The recent split between Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash illustrated this, okay? And some criticized Bitmain that they were behind this split, which they call fork, okay? And this guy said, no, I wasn't behind that, okay? Now, when it comes, I think you can now see that those who control more power in the Bitcoin world, that they can decide where this currency is going. Okay, so it's not decentralized. These are the new bankers of the Bitcoin. This guy is a central bank of Bitcoin by himself. He's a government with a couple of his buddies and 80% China. And think about it, in China, they pay tax, you have to have a government permission. All of this is controlled, ledgers and everything. Okay, you have to have a licenses. How decentralized this? So the government said tomorrow in China, shut it down. Just switch off electricity. Boop. No more network. I mean, seriously. I mean, even just naively when they think this is going to win or has a potential. Power is about hard power. What you can do. It's not you create little apps and imaginary money and you win something. Real power is hard power. You can do something with it. You can enforce or stop something. This one easily demolished. You understand? Just they don't allow you to add the app on your mobile and you don't have it. Let alone all of these businesses who, that you have to actually convert real money and through banks and all of this. So 99 is conventional anyway, okay? And the people who are there are conventional. Another problem that we see here is the scalability, okay? The Bitcoin is not designed to be as a medium of exchange. The transactions, they are limited at 7 per second or so, and the size of block and the speed, they are not meant for modern transactions. Okay, that's why we have all of these backlogs, okay? And as these rewards that are created diminish, because as they go, this 12.5 reward for the blocks to miners diminish, the fees will increase, okay? And the time is again of a problematic. So more and more we see that they cannot be used as a really genuine medium of exchange. And we have 0.1% of the community, most powerful ones, deciding. Very large private companies are controlling this Bitcoin economy, and they are deciding on the future and direction. These are unknown, and they can change the rule and manipulate these rules as they wish. Okay, so this. To put it differently, imagine if we all decided the decision about money is to put all of our money and economy in the few hands of the few corporations and banks. This is what we have done with this digital currency. And then, without any oversight, they make all of the decisions. Security-wise, they say all of this security and all of this, they put faith in the complex maths, in the unknown entities. Complex maths and unknown entities. But reality is that when it's come to the computing power and maths, bigger, faster, powerful computers can crush the smaller one and so on, and they can manipulate this. So without going too technically, blockchain seems to be an interesting piece of technology, data, public ledger, but I don't see it personally without centralized body that control it being anything except just experiment. So it has to have an element of centralization, because it is possible, very difficult, now, for average person or even a pool to do what I'm going to tell you now. But, if there was a real reason from someone to manipulate this and destroy it and rig the system, all they need to have is majority power in this game. So block can be altered, changed retrospectively, and manipulate if majority collude. So you understand that? If majority of these people who control, and we see one entity 30%, another one, like handful of people who know each other, they get together. If they want to collude, like these banks colluded during global financial crisis and so on, they can manipulate this currency. Okay. All it needs is more power, more sophisticated attack, and so on. Now, just like government, okay, these bankers or miners, as we call them, they are controlling, they want to have a level of control over this industry, over what they created. Because once they invest so much money, they pay millions in electricity, let alone hardware and other stuff. Once you invest so much money in everything, and often you need the regulators and all of the rest, what you want to do is you want to control it. Okay? You want to control it. So today, what the problem we see in the Bitcoin is very hardly to be used as a medium of exchange, to buy and sell, transactions, third party, very expensive, okay, very big delays, unknown entities, private currency. It is fiat money as any other fiat money, not easy to send and receive. A little bit, it's not intuitive. Even the money on exchange is not expressed in the bitcoins. You understand? You don't go and say, can I have a one bread? Or it's 0.0002121567 Bitcoin. You don't know what that means. Even as a pricing mechanism for goods, it doesn't make sense. 0.000. You understand? It's not like one, okay, I know $3, $5. Even the Bitcoin, especially because of volatility, when they tell them how many Bitcoin to buy, or what is that? Even these places when they go to buy something, let's say you want to buy a book, it will tell you in dollars. Because the Bitcoin is so much changing, you don't know what it means. You understand? Only thing is, yes, you can transfer, send money and back and forth, okay? But not as a medium of exchange that easily. Especially now, with this current currency. You just tap, boom, done, verified. So what they're now doing, even they're paying, this BitPay, I think they call them or something. When you pay for the something, they will not transfer immediately money, or they will do something called netting, which is hopefully this goes through transaction. So many. So it's expensive, usually used by people, and there is no demand to pay with Bitcoin anything, really. Okay? There is no, oh, I wish I have a Bitcoin, I want to buy that. Okay? It's just like non-existent. It's not driven by that. The value of the Bitcoin is not driven by everybody want to buy something, and it's not used in the commerce. Okay? The Bitcoin, to be medium efficient, must be used in the commerce, in real business, buying and selling stuff. It's not there. It's driven by speculators. And the price reflects speculation. Hope that I'll buy this for $1, sell you for $2, he will sell you for $20, he will sell you for $100, he will for $1,000, $10,000, $1 million. And when I get it at million, I hope sell it to 2 million to someone. It's not really about the pen anymore. It's about I can sell it to someone else. This is what we call speculative trading. Now the price rises due to a lot of people trying to make it into this pyramid, due to media attention and sales trickery, hype. Okay, that's why people want to get in. They don't want to miss on this. All right, so this is based on hype. Most of it is also hoarded. It's not in circulation. And large number just disappears. Okay? Just disappear. Imagine you have all of these things, all of your wealth, boom, digital wallet, something shock happens, you plug in your charger, fries this, or something happened on the cloud, or something. Millions coins of these disappeared. Okay? Your wealth disappeared. You can't go to anyone. It's decentralized. You can't go to anyone. So no one would risk that. No one would be so foolish to risk these transactions. When these exchanges and people lost hundreds of millions, just disappear in air. You understand? And the new people keep coming all the time. So it's a very volatile, it's not also store of value. It's not unit of account, because this 0.0000111, you don't know. You can't think like that. You can't think of zero. Imagine if I told you this pen is 0.0000 Bosnian dollars. You don't know what that means. I have no idea what that means. So just because you limit 21 million on that side and then you open on the other side growth, in making it small, it just doesn't make any sense. Question, can we privatize digital currency? As I told you, Islamically, this is a big problem. Opens the door to manipulation. Motive for profit through creating digital currency is a big problem. Opens the motive. So one of the aims of Sharia is to ensure the fairness, justice, especially integrity of the money, to ensure integrity of the economy. Okay? So this is against all of our ideas. So that's and plus it's not going to happen. Even if we didn't have any of these things, no real power and state will allow something like that. They will regulate it. They will say, your Bitcoin is a capital gain, you have to pay, I need to see what's going on, money laundering, like this, okay? That's so easy to regulate. So that's just, anybody doesn't think that it takes 20 seconds for government to shut it down is kidding themselves. One of the reasons, should we have a decentralized, one of the reasons why we have a global financial crisis when we let these profit-making bankers, suckers, suck our blood. That's why we have a global transactions. We don't want it. We want to regulate it. Okay? Now, I was supposed to talk also about this OneCoin. OneCoin is the biggest joke I have ever seen in my life. They didn't have even blockchain. They have nothing. OneCoin sells educational material with tokens. And there's $100, you get 100 token to mine. But you pay 1,000, you get 10,000 tokens to mine. 100, I don't know, millions. Like, what? Imagine that. I come, brother, this is education. You pay just $100 and I'll give you tokens to mine. You understand? Next day they say we're changing the new blockchain to another chain. Nobody's even buying and selling. You can't even buy and spend that money. But yet they have 2 million people who are mining and buying into what? Education. So they're selling like different level, up to hundreds or something thousand. And what is the education? How to trade, gamble with the money. That's the education. And you get these coins. So they're selling you data on a USB, for some tokens for real cash. This is the essence of the Ponzi schemes and pyramids. And then they reward you when you get your friend or a relative or somebody to buy, and then you get a cut and everything, and this base is growing. You understand? This is the basis of all the Ponzi schemes. Okay? The Quran tells us, don't give your wealth, do not give to foolish your property, which Allah has made means of you to support you. When we read the story of Musa, one of those girls, when she go to her father, she says, oh, my father, hire him, he is strong and trustworthy. We hire strong and trustworthy people just to do a job, let alone we want these crooks to control all the money and economy, and we don't know them, all in the name of some fake decentralization. Yusuf, when he was in Egypt, during the recession, he asked, appoint me as a supervisor, treasurer, because I am indeed knowledgeable keeper. He was appointed over the economy. Abu Dhar narrated that the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "O Abu Dhar, I see you are weak, and I love for you the same thing that I love for myself. But never become a leader." Why? Because he's weak, have some weakness. Not even of two people. And never manage the property of the orphans. So to preserve genuine function and trust in currency and the money, and to preserve integrity of economy, we have to have a system of trust. We have to have some rule for the centralization, all this. So all of these decentralized and everything. That doesn't mean to say that some of these blockchain technology could not be used to verify some certificates or something, that makes sense, okay? But not as we are hyped up. What drives it, I said, is this speculation. I don't want to go on OneCoin. It's the biggest scam. I think in my mind, only fool would go into this. Only foolish person would buy into this scam, okay? You don't know what you're buying. You don't know where it is spent. Somebody told you, some Bulgarian lady, she created it. She was working in McKinsey. And she come across Bitcoin. She said, I'll create my own currency. And we now started. Just. So today what is driving this is speculative investment. Now, very quickly, what does that mean? Is that whenever you buy commodity, money, forex, share market, all of these things, you enter into this when you buy this, you enter as a what? Speculator or investor, okay? So when I'm talking now about trading, I don't mean Islamic trading, I mean day trading, which is fast selling and buying things, okay? Now, that is what we call speculative trading, okay? Now, when these people invest money, forex, usually you have a student. This is how the story goes. You have a 25-year-old student. He never read a book about money and finance and economy. Never read. He went on the money seminar, okay? Somebody told him there is this thing called forex, okay? What that means is that imagine if you could, with your little mobile phone, buy some money or a stock or something, okay? And somehow, you know that will be the next big thing. Now, nobody think about how do I know that, you know? Nobody thinks that. But you know, tomorrow that company, whoo, something big will happen. First of all, if you know that an inside trader, it's illegal, but forget that part. How do you know that? All of these professionals, banks, looking, analyzing, and you are the mashallah one with your $1,000 in the pocket, you know that. And you will go and buy this and tomorrow you'll make money. And somehow they convince these poor guys to pay them $1,000 to go to these now courses, to have these technical diagrams, because they say it's not gambling, we are using real information, real knowledge, you know, it's educate the guess, you know, because these guys gave me some charts and flow charts and the diagrams and the circles to look at, and they tell me what to buy. So they buy money, they buy this, and they pay more, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. This con goes for long, and most time they lose the money. Most time they lose money, and then they realize, you know, this is just foolish. You know. But sometimes they win. So in this betting, sometimes some of them win. So I ask them, so you buy money, any money, forget Bitcoin, dollar you buy. Now, when you go to this Forex and all of these things, money, how much is normal money moving in the market? You know, when they do the Forex, they have these pips, which is 0.001. So small movements in currency that it's 0.00 something. If the money market move 1%, that's a big thing. Anyway, let's say money market move 1%. So I say to these brothers, so money market moves 1%. You buy, let's say, with your $1,000, you buy American dollars, okay? And money, the increase is 1%. How much in real life you make? If the market move 1%, how much you make? You make 1%. Yeah, that's it. But how much this little deal makes for them is more than 1%. Sometimes hundreds and thousands of percent. So how does that make sense? Which other industry makes you move 1% and you make 1,000%? Which other industry? I know one. It's casino. You understand? It's casino. Because you don't buy this money, you leverage it, you buy it on margin, just a fraction. You understand? So you are betting, and you are betting whether something goes up or down. So this short term, you know, when our scholars today, sometimes, when I was doing my MBA, you know, we have a very good professor of finance, okay? And I always used to tell brothers, if you don't understand their finance, they will trick you easily. You know, you want to study Islamic finance, if you don't understand their finance, you'll be so gullible. We had a very good professor of finance, okay, when I was doing this. And what he used to do, assignment was, he created the demo account on Forex market, 50K. And assignment was who's going to make more money. And if you make more money, or let's explain why. And he opened this. Then I understand that this is gambling. You understand? When I saw it's what's happening there. Just like when I buy Bitcoin, I said, this is not going to work. There's no way this is going to work. Okay? That's all right, don't worry about it. That's all right, don't worry. You understand? But the problem with lots of our scholars is when they think about this buying and selling that goes on the stock exchange, they think about normal market of Medina. Somebody come from somewhere and they want to change some money. That's all right. That's all right. Don't worry. They think normal market of Medina. Can you just give me Medina? Somebody come with money. He want to spend the money, exchange it for that coin, or somebody buying something and they're trading. In that case, somebody who is trading benefits somebody real, and they benefit themselves, and then they sell that something. You know, the real commerce is happening. You understand? And whenever you engage, both parties are. In the speculative day trading, your loss is somebody win. Somebody's win is your loss. It's a zero-sum game. You understand? Your money coming from losing, somebody is losing. And it comes from any direction. Short sale, long sale. Asset go up or down. So it's a purest form of gambling. Just we are benchmarking against these things. As an investor, you buy in the shares as a shareholder to receive money from what? From underlying economic performances of that businesses. So when they issue dividend, you are the shareholders in that. So if they return 10%, you get a share of that. You get a share of that real economic activities. You understand? So what these speculators are doing, they're just bouncing back, and they have now these high frequency algorithms, and everybody's bouncing back. They created between themselves just the industry, gambling, casino. And unfortunately, when it comes to digital coins and other things, this just is creating a gambling huge industry. Anyway, this is a long discussion. I don't want to go too much into this in terms of capital markets, but I might just have a class on that, speculative trading, to show the problem with that. Okay, halas. Read the tulip mania of the tulip, when the people in Europe used to sell tulip, which was like a flower, and used to go thousands of dollars in Europe. There was people who were crazy about it. This is what these things are these days. All right, let me in summary, just mention a few things, and then we'll go question and answers if you have, and people on the internet. The Prophet ﷺ told us that the two hungry wolves let loose among sheep are no more harmful to them than a man craving after wealth and status is to his religion. When people crave for wealth, what's happened is that they compromise every kind of ethical and any other standards. They exploit their religion and everybody else, because this hunger for wealth drives them to do such and such. The Prophet ﷺ said that if the son of Adam has got like a mountain of gold, and he will want another one and so on, what satisfies him is the dust of his grave. It is natural that we want money, but what we need to always understand from what we are making money. These quick fixes, digital or something, can only buy you digital house. You understand? That's only if you want to live in a digital house, have a digital wife, digital car, then this is the money for you. A real life, real things, different story. Okay? We shouldn't feel depressed because we live in an unethical system of economy and riba and exploitation and all of that. We shouldn't feel that. We shouldn't feel. And we shouldn't be easily conned by people who sell us the dreams and the hype. We should think always, what am I actually making money from? And as Ibn Qayyim say, feeling powerless is deception. It's a part of deception and excuse. So we shouldn't feel like that. Instead, we should be real leaders who want to create Islam as a deen, way of life in everything. Benefit from the real value. Create something of real benefit and value, and we trade that. As the Prophet ﷺ was asked amongst the people, and they asked him, what's the best way to make money? Because people are always concerned about this. So he said, the best way is a man's work with his hands and every legitimate sale. The scholars used to argue, what does that mean? It means anything tangible. Whether it's this industry, farming, food, manufacturing, whatever. You create an app, you create a service, you create something of real value. So you go to school, you start the businesses, you do something to create a benefit and value. So when you sell it to the person, it benefits that person, and they exchange money for you. In that case, both of you win. It's called win-win. It's called real trade. It's through mutual consent. Everything that harms other people, everything through the speculation, through bubbles, all of these things is something that we shouldn't be concerned. And of course, as a Muslim, we should try to make ourselves to be upper hand in society. And may Allah help us and establish Islam as a lifestyle, as a deen in all areas of life. Now with that, I'll let you ask maybe some question, and if you have also from internet, I'll try my best, inshallah, to answer. How we are going, how's with the time? A little bit longer than I thought, but I apologize. Yes?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I'd just like to ask, when did Bitcoin ever claim to be a charity?
What do you mean, charity?
Well, you asked miners doing things out of the goodness of their heart, all this kind of stuff. This was implied that
No. I meant that they say that this is centralized, that there is no third party. And then to assume that anybody else would do it other than for profit would be foolish.
The whole thing of Bitcoin is that it's
Yeah.
based around the idea of a financial incentive for somebody to verify the transaction. I mean, nobody's ever said that they just verify the transaction from the particular party.
And I didn't say that. What I said is that that is a third party then. That's a third party running the system for profit.
It is a third party, but I mean, whoever said that there's no third parties involved,
No, that's what I'm saying.
where are these parties coming from?
So
There's
let-
third parties involved, or that people are doing things from the goodness of their heart?
You misunderstand the point. So what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to be sarcastic by saying they don't do it for charity purposes. What is the reason why these guys are doing it? To get paid.
Financial incentive?
That's right. So they are the third party. So my point there is that it's centralized around these miners who control the system and who are paid. And how they are paid? By the system who creates the money by itself. So what am I linking that to? You see, when government today creates the money, it gives this to the banks, who are also there for profit. That's why I say even for the banks, they are not charitable. Not because somebody says they are charitable, is to highlight that with the profit comes the interest. You understand? So this interest, the control of the network, centralization, having it in your own hand, having the power to create a currency, to manipulate it. What I'm trying to say is this is in the hands of conventional people who are already 1%ers. It's already establishment. You understand? So what I'm debunking is that it's centralized, it's not centralized. It doesn't have a third party.
You get your money back, and it's decentralized, you can't get your money back.
I'm saying,
Is it centralized or is it decentralized?
no. I'm saying that what the proponents and activists of Bitcoin are saying is that this is a way to transfer for free. So if you, I don't know if you've been in the beginning, but I made few claims of the industry and what is the Bitcoin, what is the blockchain, and what are the claims. So the claim is that this is a faster, without third party, real freedom. And what I'm saying, it's not. So all of the selling points of Bitcoin don't add up.
Yeah, but you said it took 50 minutes to make a transaction.
45.
Make a transaction on the Swift network. Because
Well-
that's what it should be compared to, not to buying coffee, because it's not really meant for buying coffee. When
Look.
you compare it to the Swift, how long does it take for a Swift transaction?
Look, the point here is
1 day, 2 days?
that when I pay with my card, okay, somebody verifies that.
But that's payment.
But no, it's not about
You
payment.
want to transfer money from country to country,
Yeah,
or even just to somebody in the same country, it's going to take you days.
sure,
You're not going to
sure.
have it in 50 minutes.
I understand that.
That's what you need to compare it to.
I understand what you're saying. But here is the problem. I go now to buy coffee, okay? There is a certainty of the delivery when I pay with the current card. There is a certainty of delivery. You understand that?
So long as you have funds in your account.
No. You immediately, it will be declined if you don't have money. So what I'm saying, there is a certainty of delivery immediately. And that certainty does not exist on this side.
Correct.
So the point here is that when these guys are coming up with a system, all of these claims, parallel, that it will be able to do all of these wonderful things, it's not real. We should understand what is real in this claim and what is not real.
At this point, on the time that it takes for a transaction, it's much faster than any existing money transfers.
Yeah, but
So that
if me and you go,
and it's the same with the one about the mining. So
just 1 second, just let me deal with each point as you bring them. So if two of us now go to buy coffee, you with Bitcoin and I will tap and I will go, and there is no uncertainty of the delivery and settlements of payments. Regardless, just sec. You understand? So I will do that, okay? Even, not just that, I'll take a cash and I pay it, and done. You understand? I'll take $100 and pay it. Or I'll tap and done. You will have to wait until that is done. That's minimum. Sometimes 4 hours, and sometimes can bounce back.
Brother, let's just have a look at what you've done with the test though. Because prior to August 1st,
Yeah.
or actually maybe a bit before, it's roughly 10 minutes for every single block to be done. It's only with the recent forking that things have
No. If you go, sometimes takes hours. Sometimes takes hours. Sometimes even longer. Sometimes NPR did a study called "Problem with the Bitcoin," and the NPR, which is one of these podcasts that does economy, that publicly funded radio, called Planet Money. They did a podcast, okay, and one of these people sent them Bitcoin, and then verify. After it disappeared, the whole thing, transaction. It's a couple of years ago. So what I'm saying is that because of the problem of this technology, it's not scalable, and the experts understand that. They say it's not scalable, it can't be. So all I'm saying is that it's not really medium of exchange. You can't wait for 10 minutes or 1 hour, whether it's going to happen or not.
It's not an instant payment system.
That's why nobody is using it as such. So the proof is in the pudding.
It's never purported to be an
It is.
judging it on
No.
that
So
it's never claimed to be.
no. It's reported to be fast. It's digital. And one of the ways, doesn't matter even if they report or not, one of the way that we recognize what the money is, you can do that. Second thing, it's even worse than our cash money. Because when I go $100 and I pay somebody, there is nobody monitors this. There is nobody in between to do this exchange. You understand? I go take $100, I pay. There is no in between miner who crunch something, get paid from that. You understand? The whole system of incentive between the miner and being in every transaction, it's for me, when I look at that, I see why that will never live to be medium of exchange. Never will be accepted.
Bitcoin itself probably won't be an instant payment system, but in terms of the money transfer,
The whole idea of decentralized currency.
that's what you need to judge it.
No. The whole idea of decentralized currency will never happen like that. It's impossible. It's not there. It's not there. Most of this money is hoarded. Most of it is driven by speculators, and the regulator just thinking what to do with this. So it will continue when they centralize this. So no one will accept that politically, economically, between the people. It creates a whole host of the problems. So I can see that technology is interesting, but it will only happen with technology when there is a centralization, where there is a control, where there is a certainty. So there is lots of currently uncertainty that I don't see it as viable in any way. It provides nothing. In reality, it provides nothing. It provides only.
It provides a lot for a lot of people. I mean, it might not provide anything for you.
No, it provides. How it provides for a lot of people.
A lot of people are storing their wealth in it, a lot of people making a lot of money out of it.
So-
This
but-
year alone
so-
is quadrupled in price. So
From what? And what is the actual work?
4,000 US dollars.
What is the actual work that's been done? What drives this? Just because people make money doesn't mean it's halal.
It's a currency. People want it. I mean,
I know it's a bubble. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a pyramid scheme, just like any other pyramid. I make money from the schemes, all of these schemes, Ponzi schemes, gambling. Just because people making money doesn't mean it's legit. Doesn't mean we should ourselves get involved.
how is it a pyramid scheme?
This is all driven by speculators.
Yeah, but a pyramid
The
scheme
whole-
is where one person then gets other people under him to go out and push a product to then get other people under him.
Yeah.
Nobody in Bitcoin does that.
Oh yes, the whole industry is built by that. The whole industry is built by this.
Where is this happening? Show me where this is happening.
The whole industry is driven by these speculators. The whole industry.
Speculation or pyramid scheme?
No, the whole of this. You see, you're looking at your normal pyramid scheme. You understand? There is, of course, the pyramid scheme. There are different kinds of pyramid schemes.
Okay, what kind is Bitcoin?
This Bitcoin is that You drive the currency to inflate. You keep some of it.
Who does?
The investors, the hedge funds,
So
all
if
of
I
these.
own Bitcoin, I have to drive other people.
No, you are riding the waves of these speculators, hedge funders, investors who are doing that. You see, when we exchange that Bitcoin, it just registered the last transactions. So it's very easy to manipulate these things. Okay? So whole of the value is nothing but a simple gambling between the people. So this creates the base of a new people who come, who will take up these things. Base. So this creates a different kind of base as people are buying into this. You understand? And they recycle this.
That's the same with any kind of asset.
And
People want it, there's demand, the price will be.
that's right. But we are not. But
There's nothing special about Bitcoin.
there is, because those people who are creating this through the validation of transactions, which is why they control 30% and 40% of the network, what they are doing with this is they are building the base of the pyramid. And through the speculation and everything, they build another layer of this pyramid with the new minted coins, and another one, and another one. And they got more people. Only reason why people buy that Bitcoin is they hope tomorrow they will sell it higher to somebody else, and that someone else to someone else. You see where the pyramid comes? So only reason why these people are selling one after another is that they're building the new coin.
Brother, you don't want to buy an asset that you can't then on-sell. If you can't on-sell, it's not an asset, it's got no value.
It's not true, not true. When you buy the asset, just let me explain to you something. When you buy the asset, the price of that asset, let's say the phone or the table or a chair, that price is determined by its normal demand and supply for that asset. You understand? The Bitcoin, the price of Bitcoin is not determined because people want Bitcoin to make trade with the Bitcoin.
It doesn't matter what they want it for.
It matters because the demand here and drive is by speculators. It's not a real, it's a fake demand. Yep. Alaykum salam.
I have two comments.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is the risk involved cryptocurrency, and number two, Sharia risk itself. So, in my opinion, when you look on transactions, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, digital currency, whatever they call it, the biggest risk is regulatory risk. When I'm saying regulatory risk, money, whatever is fake money or cryptocurrency, it has to have a price or regulatory risk, whether it's Atlantic, global, central bank, because then the regulatory risk will be minimized. If you fall into cryptocurrency, as Almir was saying, even though I missed most of the presentation, there's no centralized regulatory body whoever involved in the laws or in terms of controlling these currencies. It's a billion of USD. The worldwide cost of money is a billion of USD. It doesn't have intrinsic value by itself.
Yeah.
Because by nothing. So the biggest risk is a regulatory risk. There's no
Many risks, not just regulatory, many risks. How it will be treated and so on.
From Sharia point of view, when we deal with currencies, whatever it is, the million of us, including gold, including silver, there is a famous case which in Saudi Arabia, narrated by the Prophet. And in my understanding, is the most rare hadith. Compared, hadith has a different level. Most clear in terms of addressing riba. One, it has 6 items listed down. Good specialist, gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat. That is for that. Exactly. And the two conditions which is missing in the cryptocurrency is what it is gold for gold or money for gold. Number one condition, it has to be hand to hand. And it has to be on time. Hand to hand and on time. So cryptocurrency there's no division. Number one, if you buy technology, whatever Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, you never know whether somebody will deliver this. There's no, in terms of everything, there's no hand to hand, and there's no on time.
We covered this. I just went quickly through this issue of gharar, uncertainty in this coin, delivery, possession, all of these things, so you have to understand a little bit. And again, as I explained you from Ibn Taymiyyah in the beginning, who should mint the coins, how they should be, that this is issue of a state, and so on. And why is that issue according to Ibn Taymiyyah and other scholars? Because exactly for profit, once you start minting for profit, which he said to Mamluks, don't do it. Because this is when the corruption starts. You understand? So we I don't know when everybody came, but when we look at these scholars, what they say, and you apply today this cryptocurrency, you see the faults. Somebody making money for profit, it should never be in a private sense. This calls for corruption immediately. Not to say we said this unethical system may have, but there's at least some transparency and predictability. You know how much they're stealing from you through inflation. Here, these guys, you don't know. As I said, they're registered in Cayman Island. You understand? You don't know. So, gharar in all of these things and issues and uncertainty and known problems and scalability and usability and who is driving and behind, you make your own conclusions. I don't see it. I don't see it, honestly. Yeah.
One last thing, sorry. So why saw this friend of mine, he was a prophet, and I asked him, just do one for me, not only one thing. How much you buy? He said, I know around 20,000. And how much they show me you as a prophet? So he said, my money is almost level. So I told him, your money is already level. Just do one thing. Can you ask them to withdraw only 1,000? Whether you can withdraw that 1,000 until now, he's begging to withdraw that 1%.
But Bitcoin?
He bought a Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Transferred to, he invested into 20,000. So as exchange, they only show figures. But there's no real money.
Anyway, there are many different ones.
Bitcoin, you can put your money and take it.
No, sorry, OneCoin.
Yeah, OneCoin is a scam. It's not even a cryptocurrency, it's just a scam.
Yeah, brother, tell me.
I was going to ask, so a lot of the things you mentioned, they seem like more like technical errors. For example, when industry started off initially, when it's like, because we saw currency in this brand new system, yeah? So eventually you might start off with something rocky and then maybe over the decades it might refine itself.
Yeah.
When it gets to the point where you can get instant payment and these uncertainties, like they work on them, they develop all these technical aspects of it, then let's say we eliminate these uncertainties, you're really left with the same kind of thing between Bitcoin and your conventional like mainstream banks and our currency. Now I don't say Bitcoin as an economical revolution. I see it as more of a social revolution. In terms of what I meant by that was in terms of they are trying to harm the big banks. They're trying to take
They're not doing
power
that.
away from the banks.
That's just very naive thinking. That's utopian thinking. It cannot happen. That cannot happen.
You have to look at the steady growth as well. Like,
No,
just
it's-
because they're not buying and selling products or like
That's
they're not buying and
impossible.
selling
Believe me,
goods
that's
or
impossible.
trading commodities, they do have a steadily increasing demand and growth.
Who
And
wins?
that's definitely power.
No, it can't. To have a power, you need to have a power. You understand? It's a real power.
Eventually, how did the banks
No.
have power? Like, they started off as
Military, for example. Tanks.
Yeah, but we don't have a state money. That's a different issue.
I'm not talking about state. I'm not talking about state. I'm talking about power. We're talking about power. So he said, how the state here? The banks has a government. Government has a soldier. And he has a gun. The Bitcoin has a commercial app made by a commercial entity, regulated by the government. He has a miner who gets, he paid the taxes to the government, regulates is by the government, tax is by the government, pays the electricity from the government. to get into, he needs to go through the bank to deposit into the app. So even, as I said in the beginning, they shut down electricity to miners, this system stop. But even if the whole system is instantaneous and perfect ledger and nobody third there and everything, does that make sense to you that this happened? Even if that happened, you think the government will not want to centralize and localize and do something with that?
The thing is that it's not always the government that has total power over everything. I mean, private companies can pressure the government into acting in certain things. Now, if Bitcoin or this cryptocurrency gets to a point where there is enough power behind it,
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why would they? Why would the people?
Using Bitcoin and not using the government's
Nah.
issued fiat currency.
I mean, as a Muslim,
That's a big dream. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. People want it cheaper and easier. You understand? I was one day at the conference giving a talk, and I was sitting next to the vice president of MasterCard. And I was talking to him, and I told him like something, and he told me like, I don't know, they process like 40 billion transactions in I don't know how long time. You see, the Bitcoin process 7 or something transaction per second. It's not even built as a medium of exchange, as a real money. You understand?
It wasn't designed as DeFi.
That's what I'm trying to say. Second thing, to get to the better system, they need to do the fork. They need to create a new money. What happened with the Bitcoin now with the Bitcash? It's new money. You understand? And that will become something else, something else, something else, something else. So all of these blockchains, all of these, we now have thousands of these currencies. You understand? So at the end of the day, why would business or anybody invest in such uncertainty? Which coins, volatility? And you understand? Business is about certainty. Money is about, let me exchange stuff quickly. Boom. So he was saying at that time, this MasterCard guy, he said they used to measure friction when you are paying. They call it friction. So he said that, when person put in his card, punch in the pin, it's a big friction. You need to punch something, put. So he said, when we design system of cardless, and I remember on my card, when I got that chip, believe me now, when the transaction is in safe over $100 and I have to put it in, I said, forget it. Like, I wish I didn't even go over 100. You understand? Because you get used to it. This is the nature of people. This is a custom. This is how people get used to these things. Of course, this is what they call friction.
Some people they say future money will be digital money. So all the money we use now, whether it's cash or
Look,
what do you think?
even the gold people don't use as a medium of exchange today, let alone digital money. Future is not what you use to pay with. It's not, the power is not in that. Nobody is going to give you free money. Future and everything is what Prophet ﷺ told us. You build something with your own hands. It's in entrepreneurship. You invent something, create something real that people want to exchange a real money to give you. Now, these days, we have the brightest kids, mathematician, engineer. Wall Street hires most of engineers and mathematicians because they're better at creating new algorithms to execute high-frequency trading computers. They made a casino out of stock exchange. They are not creating better vaccine. They're not creating something new that will benefit mankind. They are creating financial engineering and the products and things that when you look at it, you ask, what is it that is doing? It's doing nothing.
If that's the world economy now, like if there's not a lot of trade-based economy happening, then it's all happening, like you said, through these money-making algorithms and profiting off, jumps and all this kind of thing, then as a Muslim, this is something that's against us. Now we need to work.
It's not just against you as a Muslim, it's against everybody, every human being.
Yes. So as humanity, we need to work on a solution that breaks down.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the way you do it,
How are we going to do it if we?
but as long as we want a riba mentality, you see, as long as we have a riba mentality, we won't do it. Most of us have a riba mentality. And you know what's riba mentality? Make money by doing nothing real in economy. That's why these speculators drive Bitcoin and other things. Because this comes only from riba mentality people. I do nothing, I just punch the number, transfer some Bitcoin, sit and wait for it to grow. This is riba mentality. I do nothing tangible, but I'll become multi-millionaire tomorrow. You understand? That's not Islamic mentality. Islamic mentality is I produce benefit with my own hands and I trade that for the money. This is why in Islam, we always want to link transaction with the real economic activities, benefit from those. So that's why we're saying Allah allowed trade. And what He forbade? Riba. Because riba is making money from money for money and giving birth. That's why financial economy now is 26 times bigger than everything we produce on planet Earth. So if we want to go into the real, we need to start producing and benefiting and implementing Islam as a deen, as a lifestyle, which means we provide a solution. I'm making this cup, it's going to be made properly. I'm making the food, it's going to be real food. Not just you go to McDonald's, junk food you buy, there's no real food. You understand? They washed, there is a 10% of the food. It just looks like a food. Why? Because capitalism, riba mentality, want to sell you something, you think it's real, but it's fake. Smells like a McDonald's meat. But where is it? You think that chips has some chips in it and meat has meat? You leave it to rotten, it stay there for 10 years. Nothing happens. I often say the story. I was with my daughter in a shopping center, youngest one. We bought this almond bar, and it says 70% peanuts in it. It's just, they sell you everything, just junk. It's just numerical growth, and that's what capitalism, that's where we are.
I would like to ask, what gives the value of the current fiat money we use?
Basically, the
For
state.
example, from originally Somalia.
Yeah.
In Australia, they don't use the Somali currency.
Yeah.
So if I have like a house full of Somali currency, in Australia it doesn't have value because people doesn't use it. Is it not the same as any other cryptocurrency, like for example Bitcoin or any other currency?
Mm-hmm.
The value of the currency is driven by the demand of the people.
We say that demand and supply, but let's see what that means actually. Okay. So first of all, is Somalia, and that's for money laundering, terrorism financing, and other things. And Somalia is not the only country that we can't deal and send money and so on. And system.
We are not talking about terrorism. We are talking about like
I know that's.
an example of the currency usage of the currency.
Yeah, I understand. But why we can't transfer money in Somalia and other countries like that? It's because of these uncertainties that banks don't want to deal with. So that's one thing. So when we say demand and supply, look at, for example, what's happening with the gold and US dollars. Based on what people trust more, they will move their money there. So during global financial crisis, what happened with the gold? Goes up. Why? Because everybody, they look at what's happening in US, there is uncertainty.
No, like at least in financial
Yeah.
money currency or everything, there's a standard benchmark whereby you can exchange any currency with that currency.
I know.
Currency is American dollar.
Sure.
What gives that value to the American?
So I'm saying, I'm trying to explain to you. So every day people trade trillions of this money, okay? These are speculators. 90% of money traded is speculators, maybe a couple of $1 trillion. I don't know the latest statistic. A real trade that we need to settle, it's about $100 billion, for example, between countries. How much is traded? Sometimes 3-4 trillion. What is that trading? It's simply big banks and big people. They are moving the money, trying to guess movements of money. They're trying to guess where this is going to go up or down. It's just gambling between the people, okay? So how do they guess this? We call that demand and supply, but where does that come from? They look at all of these indicators, stock market, economy, like confidence in, like let's say United States. When people lose the confidence, let me give you Europe. I have a friend, he borrowed money from the bank, a relative of mine in Bosnia, okay? He borrowed money from the bank and they tied this to Swiss franc, because in European Union, only Swiss franc now independent. The rest is euro. This annoying, this noise from this thing. So what happened is when euro was having troubles, okay, what happened with the euro? Confidence in European Union start. Italy down, Greece down, Spain down, too much debt, future of euro, all of this. What started happening? Euro goes down because we don't believe this. So what's going to happen? Everybody start betting. This is going to go down. So they start shorting, they call it shorting, to profit from price going down. So what start happening? Really it affects economy. But what happened with the Swiss franc? Where do they move money then? They say, well, if Europe is going down, what's the safe haven now? They look at Switzerland, for example. They started jumping in Switzerland money. So
basically, the price of or the value of the currency is determined by the people.
but you have to see the link. Of course, at the end of the day, you understand, if everybody decide to buy this from me, 10 of you, 20 of you want to buy this, okay? What's going to happen with this? Even if it is nothing, I'll say, well, I'll sell it for $100 if really.
Would that be haram for you, for example, if today that thing you're holding $1 and the whole people could need that one and the price goes up dramatically to 1,000 or 5,000, would it be haram on you?
So this one, if there is a genuine demand on this, let's say we have a market, as I said in the war, price of sugar went to $60, I remember. 1 kilo of sugar in Bosnia war, $60. Is it permissible? It is permissible. Because they genuinely, people want to buy that, that's how they're willing to consume that. But if somebody hoarded this and artificially manipulated, then it's haram. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ forbade in the auction, for example, when somebody artificially comes and raise the price up. You know, so he forbid this. So let's say we buying this pen, and you say $1, $2, but somebody put a man there. He said, "No, I'll give $5." This haram, not permissible. Why? Because this speculative inflation of money price.
How about if he can afford to pay?
Doesn't matter. Even in Australia law, this is not permissible. Why? Because he is driving up. He's cheating us. He's driving up the price of this item. You understand? Just so that then you say, so you have real and you have fake bidders. You understand? So this kind of artificial inflation of price is not allowed in Islam. You understand? If it's happened for genuine reason and you really want to buy something, you know, food, let's say in a famine, or you buy. That's why Umar, they asked him to, in Medina, to fix the prices. And he didn't, he said, no, we don't do it. And the Prophet ﷺ also forbade that. But he says, I'm not going to buy it myself, some luxury food items and stuff, okay? But of course, if there is manipulation, that's why in Islam we have institution of hizbah in the market, which monitors these things. And Prophet ﷺ forbade many things, not just this, intercepting traders from buying who are going into the market. You go here, sitting here in this market, and somebody coming says, good, you go to intercept him, and you say, I'll sell it for you, just give me, don't worry about pay. No. And many of these things. So a lot of these things in Sharia you have to a little bit study.
The other thing is like, according to Islam, technology is it forbidden? Because during the time of our Prophet we didn't have technology.
Sure.
Now we are seeing a lot that's going to be crazier even when we go to the future. So technology, is it allowed in Islam?
This technology and these things, they come under muamalat, like a business and what we are talking now. This all comes under muamalat, and usul fiqh rule is that when it comes to these things, you can do as long as you don't go against what Sharia prohibited or against aims of the Sharia.
If you put into consideration, for example, 7 years or 8 years before, we never had the fiat currency, we had gold and silver, or 100 years ago.
People had Chinese, other people, they used to have, sure. Other things, people used to.
People created and accepted, they created the fiat currency.
Sure.
And then before it used to be backed by the gold and silver, now they don't back anymore. But now the fiat money has a currency. With the new technology now, people are creating cryptocurrency,
Sure.
blockchain,
Yeah.
and if people move from the current fiat money to cryptocurrency, And as you said, like the price of the value depends on according to what they claim, depends on supply and demand. And in this case, I don't think it's haram. Right?
Yeah.
You feel like I sell this house for 1 million. It's not haram for me because I can say like that's the value of my house. If you want, you take it, and if you don't want to leave it. I don't know if it's haram or haram. I don't know. That's what
You have to look at the bigger picture. But to simplify, you have to listen to this, what we talked from the beginning. That's very simple. Sharia wants to protect the wealth. To protect the wealth and economy, it wants to protect the source of the wealth from manipulation. What is that? It's money. You understand? So Sharia, and as a Muslims, we should make sure that money is always non-for-profit activity, whether it's run by state or. But when these people enter into this field, they run it for profit, we have a problem. Because this gives rise to huge manipulation, plus the power and all. Yes, brother.
Okay, I just wanted
Yeah.
to address 2 points.
Sure.
The first one was the claim that the miners control the network. So you mentioned earlier in the talk there's miners and there's nodes. So the nodes are the greater number of people who are actually running the network.
Sure.
And they actually validate transactions as well.
Sure.
Not just the miners.
But they are minors as well.
No, they're not miners. They're just full nodes that just validate all of the transactions. If the transactions don't validate, they reject them. No matter what a miner sends out as a block that they say is a valid block, if all of those nodes reject it, or even the majority.
But how do they validate transaction? Because the miner sends
the
the.
rules that are already set up in the software.
But that's how it works.
Says, this is a valid block.
But how do they get to say which one is valid? Mining, I don't know how's your understanding of these things. What the mining is. So mining, what is this? So miners, when they want to validate this, they send request. Okay? So this is a block. Okay? Now, to create double dipping or double booking problem, miners, this is one block that they say, who's going to validate this? So the system says, who's going to validate this? So what minings do? What minings do? So in this case, I'm saying in this, what is it that specifically they do? Without jargon, what is it that miners do now? After I want to send you $5 in the block, what is it that the network is doing?
A miner is a piece of software that listens for transactions that are being broadcast, gets those transactions, organizes them into a block.
Wait. You are already saying something that's not. I'm asking you specifically.
I'm telling you exactly what
Yeah,
a miner
but
does. This is 100% only what a miner does.
But
It doesn't do anything else other than what I'm doing.
Can I ask you just this simple answer to this? When I want to send you $5,
Yeah.
okay, in the block, who verifies that?
Transaction, not a block.
Okay, I send you transaction. Sure, many of transactions. I know. I'm just making it very easy. In this block, this transaction. It's many transactions. So I want to send you $5.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens then after that? Immediately, first thing that happens.
You broadcast the transaction.
No.
Yes.
No. I broadcast intention of transaction.
No, you broadcast the transaction. You sign a transaction and you broadcast the packet out, which contains the transaction.
So I broadcast what? This transaction happened?
It hasn't been confirmed.
That's right. So it's intention of transaction. Okay?
It's called a transaction.
Doesn't matter what's called, we need to be very precise. So this person is saying, I want to do transaction. Okay? What happens then after that?
Miners will receive that transaction, add it into the current block that they're creating.
Wait, no.
Okay, what do they
No.
do?
Miners now bid for the right to verify it.
No, everybody can start building a block instantly.
I know.
I can start building one right now if I open up my computer and start doing it.
But if everybody build a block, then we would not have one ledger properly. You understand?
They often have orphan blocks.
No. So let's concentrate on this transaction. Let's concentrate on this one. So when I broadcast that I want to send this block, miners bid. Okay?
They don't do which part of the Bitcoin
Okay.
protocol is
Just so what the miners do is how many miners will get to verify this transaction? Whoever wants.
broadcast is public.
No, no,
Anybody
no,
can
no,
add it
no.
into their
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. No, it's not.
You can.
Let me explain to you then. So when they broadcast, I want to send this brother $5 in this block with all the rest. Then they send to the system. Who will verify this? Now, why is that important? Because whoever verifies this will get rewarded with what? How much reward for verification?
12.5 Bitcoin.
Plus the fees. How much is that? $100,000.
It depends on the free market.
You can see now it's $100,000 based on that free market. Okay? 4 or 5 Bitcoins for fees that I pay, and 12.5 that is created from nothing. So it's about $100,000. So you saying to me, anybody comes and boom, and they get 100K? That there is no system
If they
of
can
selection?
if they can find the correct nonce that verifies that block, yes.
Okay, so now we are getting where we are getting, okay?
No, but the point about having to bid
Just
for
sec.
a transaction.
No, just, I'm
Anybody here can look up.
No. It's wrong. It's wrong. So once this message is broadcasted, every pool there wants to have a right to verify their transaction.
What's going to stop them from verifying?
Okay. I'm explaining that. So every pool, let's say you are the pools. Each one wants to grab this. But now system says, who will get it? Who will get this? I need simple answer, not a complication. Which one of you will get this?
The one who produces a hash that is below
Okay.
the current.
No, okay. So what does that mean?
It means that they've got all the transactions that they want to grab without anybody preventing them from grabbing those transactions, putting them into a block, incrementing a nonce until it produces
No.
the correct hash.
No. This is very simple. You have to simplify. To understand anything, you have to simplify it. System will say, you need to solve something.
Yes, correct.
You understand?
Increment that nonce until it goes below the current.
You need to guess the number. You understand? So I go like this. I write a number here.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with the whole idea that nodes are actually the ones who have the greater share of the network?
I'm trying to explain to you the first what we are talking about, because you say there are miners and there are non-miners the verifying transaction.
Correct.
So I'm saying that that's not true. So this is what's happened next. So we are still at my example. So I'm writing it down. I'm going to put a number, long number, 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30. Okay. Now I say, whichever one of you gets this number I have here, I'll give him this. That's what miners do. You understand? They are trying to guess this number here.
But with any transactions they like, there's no.
Doesn't matter. I'm talking about this one.
Taking all the transactions that get broadcast.
Doesn't matter. All transaction. I'm talking about one transaction. So all of you now, what you are doing now, trying to guess this number. Now, who's gonna consistently guess this number?
Whoever has. Well, it's random, but it's
No, it's not
generally
random.
gonna be
Look.
The one who has the most highest computing power will have.
Exactly. No. That's accident. That's accidental. No. Look at.
I start with the correct nonce. I get
Brother. This is a simple probability and statistics. Bro.
You're doing it on an old 386. I will still.
No. That's not true.
Okay, the chances are low, but it's possible.
No. It's not gonna happen.
Always guaranteed that the one
No.
has the most amount of hashing power. Will actually get the
Right, but on average, the one with the most computing power will.
Yeah.
But how
So-
does that affect the fact that
So
the nodes are the majority of the validators?
So this simple mathematics, simple mathematics, statistics, probabilities. So what I'm trying to say is that these now miners, it could be on the PC, which is not possible anymore, or you with the warehouse of these, you will guess this consistently. And if you go, and I checked on blockchain info, how often? Sometimes 10 minutes, 15, 9, 8, you can see how quickly they are mining this. Okay, So this is why I wanted to say to you, your first point, that's why it's very important that we don't say one point and then we paint the picture. So your first point you said that there are miners and somebody else is not true. All of them are guessing the same thing. So there is somebody else
I can
that...
run a full node of Bitcoin and I validate the transactions and I do not do any mining at all.
So
I think, brother, that
this,
you know quite understand.
the mining is verification of the transaction, and they do it for the fee.
Mining is not verification. Mining is creating a block and then every other
No,
node
no,
on the network has to
no.
validate.
Mining,
If they don't accept it,
no. Mining is mining, and it's recorded. You go check. I specifically researched this part. Mining is verification of the transaction. Okay, that's what moves the system and allows transactions. Anyway, you can, and there is, and just 1 second, and to say that there is a miner and somebody else verifying transaction, then we have another third entity. And why are they doing that then? You understand? So this is what I try to correct.
user-activated soft fork was that was going to occur on August 1st.
Sorry?
The UASF, user-activated soft fork.
Okay.
It was meant to occur on
Sure.
August 1st. It didn't occur because Bitcoin Cash forked.
Yes.
Okay, what was the user-activated soft fork? What does that mean? That means that every single user running a full node was going to actually fork the software and activate SegWit without any miner's approval, without anybody else's approval. That means they had full control of the network.
I know, but the fact that somebody wanted this segregated witness, somebody wanted to go a different way, split the currency at the end. So this is another problem. Now we have two currencies
But
created.
they're irrelevant to the point. The
I
point
know.
is that those people, those nodes, are the ones who validate the blocks.
But you asked the question about the power. You asked the question about the power.
Yes, correct.
If they collude, they can change power together. You see, the point here is that the power is in the hands of the few Chinese firms who are registered in Cayman Island, who, if they collude 10 of them with 90% of power, can take it anywhere they want. That's a central bank.
No, they can't take it anywhere they want. This is a fallacy. All they could do is try and put in a double spend.
They can do whatever
There's
they
no
want.
guarantee that they'll
They
make
can
that.
continue. They can continue building their own.
The whole network wherever they want.
Just like they had tried other current, just like you now said it, they can't collude. Well, they couldn't agree. That's why they created duplicated Bitcoin and added them to cash.
Bitcoin Cash was created because the miners were afraid of the user activated
Yeah,
software.
but not miners, group of miners. And as I said before,
The miners themselves were afraid of the user activated software, meaning that they recognize that the normal nodes are more powerful
Which-
than the mining nodes.
now think about now this language. Suddenly have a powerful nodes, which highlights the problem of this decentralization.
Just the normal nodes, on the network. Meaning on my computer, running the
No.
Bitcoin server,
Nobody's scared of that. Don't worry. Nobody. It's like somebody's guessing. You know, it's like this. Sure, somebody can guess lotto numbers. You understand? Theoretically, it's possible to get 100 million from lotto, but that's not a career pathway for people. You understand? Just because somebody theoretically can guess. So these miners,
What does it do with this point though? This point has nothing to do with guessing.
it has, because
A normal node does not guess anything. It doesn't do any mining.
Because it's-
Purely validates and says this block that came from this miner is correct. Yes. This block that came from this miner is correct. Yes. This block that came from this miner is correct. No, rejected. That's all it does. That's all that a normal node does.
I now don't know exactly where you're going, but all I was saying,
The knowledge is maybe just a little bit.
I try to explain that verification and through mining and all of this, I don't know what else to say. I think that it's very clear that they do have power that is proportionate to their things, and that's what creates, and that creates the problem for the people who want to see that currency is not manipulated and so on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
What I was mentioning was the anonymous factor as well, is that I can generate a Bitcoin address on a machine and nobody will know who that address is tied to. You can send funds to it and nobody can tie it to me, to you, to anybody else.
But when you buy the Bitcoin, you're going to use your cash, right?
No, okay. I'm going to go to a Bitcoin ATM, I'm going to put in cash and it's going to get sent to that address.
Well, this-
It's never going to get tied to me. Or I'm going to go on local Bitcoin.
Just like any other, look, just like the,
Okay, and if you buy some stuff online, would it?
oh sorry, let me see, just from the online, what you say.
Yeah.
know what network it is, you can very easily do it.
Okay, if you guys, all right.
You think, believe me, these people who track these transactions, if you know what they are able to do, if you know how much they're tracking, you know.
I generated an address on a machine that's not even online. There's no way they can track it to anything.
وياكم. What is the question?
How is the Federal Reserve System not a Ponzi scheme?
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I'll send you some links, inshallah.
No problem, inshallah. Jazakallah. How is the Federal Reserve?
System not a Ponzi scheme?
Well, they are at the moment, Federal Reserve, they are the guys in power. Whether we like them or not, they create money, so we can't do anything. So we do what we can with what we have. So whether it's, huh?
Still a scam. We can't escape it, but it's still a problem, right?
Well, it's unethical. It creates money from nothing, and it's a type of injustice, you could say. You understand? So, I mean, you should be concentrating about how you can do something that makes value and adds value, and do something. And what can you do? That's what you have now.
It's not showing me all the comments.
What else? You have any online comments?
There is, but it's not showing me.
Well, inshallah, I will. Did we lose the comments?
Yeah.
All right.
But they're there, but it's just...
So what did people wanted to know? We got a little bit involved in so much discussion here, so I think we better stop it now. I apologize, maybe I'll try to answer, inshallah, some of those questions by typing in a couple of hours when I get home. Thank you very much for participating. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.